Hello, welcome to the Stephanie Herman Show, and welcome to my backyard. We are Zooming together during COVID-19 shelter in place. And what I wanted to bring you today for the Stephanie Herman Show was inspiration, reflection, hope, and fun through three of my dances that I've performed. The first dance is Solidarity. I was asked to perform for Dancing for a Cure 2019 Dance Fundraiser Festival. It was such an honor for me to be asked to perform that I felt my choreography had to be sensitive enough for such a delicate cause. The first step was to find the right music. As I was searching different pieces of music, all of a sudden out of the blue, I started singing, "When you walk through a storm, keep your head up high and don't be afraid of the dark." Those words just resonated with me. I could envision the movements in the dance and conveying the feeling of what those words meant. The song is by Jerry and the Pacemakers. And as I started choreographing, I started realizing that I was going to walk through a storm with fear, but yet having the courage through my movement, with uplifting movements, but yet still be strong. And I wanted to convey that in my performance. So when it came time to perform, my inspiration was to care for my audience and bring them courage and hope and not sadness, and let them know I was there for them. So please join me with Solidarity, and I hope this touches you too.
When you walk through a storm, hold your head up high and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of a storm, there's a golden sky and the sweet silver song of love. Walk on through the wind, walk on through the rain, for your dreams be tossed and blown. Walk on with hope in your heart, and you'll never walk alone. You'll never walk alone. Walk on with hope in your heart, and you'll never walk alone. You'll never walk
My second dance is called Metamorphosis. I was listening to this fabulous piece of music called Clocks by Eclipse, and it enveloped me with so much feelings as I was going through a very difficult time at that time. And when I heard the music, I could almost feel my feelings, and I wanted those feelings to be conveyed through the music. And what was really wonderful about the music, it had a contrast of urgency and calm. So it was what I was going through. I was going through sadness and hurt and anger and confusion. And I started my healing process and I felt more resolved. And the music, it had angular movements that I brought into it to convey those feelings of anger and sadness and confusion. And the calm part was my own resolve. And you will hear that probably in the music, the changes. When it came time to filming it, my dear friend Azita Ganji was the filmmaker, and she asked me where I would like to film it that brought me happiness. So that wasn't difficult. I thought Napa Valley, and the Seha Vineyards agreed to let me use their place to film it. While filming, though, there were the elements that were difficult also. The first dance, I had to dance on cement. So internally, I was feeling the hardness of the floor, which conveyed the hardness of the emotions I was going through, my own conflict and resolve. So I allowed those feelings to show through in my dance. The second time we filmed it was in the narrowness of the vineyards, and I was kind of enveloped by grapes and wires, and I couldn't move as big as I could, and I felt restricted like I was when I was going through my difficulty. So again, I had to be vulnerable in the moment of the movement and the feeling emotionally and convey it without fear. The third time I filmed it, there was a whole bunch of rocks and pebbles underneath, and the floor was unstable, and I had a scarf, and I had to deal with the instability of the elements and the instability reminder of what I was going through when I was going through my conflict. So I hope you enjoy Metamorphosis, and maybe it will touch you or resonate with you in any way. The third dance, Papageno through pandemic, yes, I filmed it during the COVID-19 pandemic while we were sheltered in place, stuck in home as a dancer. I felt like I wanted to dance, but I had no place to dance. So I had to dance outside on my deck. And the first step was to find the proper music that would convey happiness and fun while we're all struggling through this very difficult, fearful time. And all of a sudden, I started thinking of the duet from Papageno, Mozart's opera of the Magic Flute, a very fun, whimsical piece. And the thing about the music is it kind of gets repetitive. And when I was choreographing it, I didn't want the movements to be repetitive. So I had to make it very lively and keep moving into different kinds of movements. And when I choreographed it, I wanted to put a lot of hand gestures to convey what we're going through, the fear, and yet also trying to be positive during this very difficult time. But yeah, oh no, what are we going to do? So we filmed it. My husband filmed it on the deck. And you might notice when you see the film that there's a certain part of the deck that's filled with exercise mats. That's covering where our deck is broken. And I couldn't dance there because I would have fallen into the deck, which you didn't want to see. So I was, again, restricted in my space, which again represents the restriction of what we're all going through during this time. And we had to film it at 4:30 because that was the only time that the light was right. And we had to do it quickly before the sunset went down. So life is full of surprises. And hopefully this piece will inspire you and bring you hope. And it will be fun, hopefully. And I hope you enjoy it. Papageno through pandemic.
Bist du mir nun ganz gegeben?
Bin ich dir ganz gegeben?
Nun so sei mein liebes Weibchen,
Nun so sei mein Herzenstäubchen,
mein liebes Weibchen, welche Freude wird's das sein,
welche Freude wird das sein,
wenn die Götter uns bedenken,
wenn die Götter uns bedenken,
unsere liebe Kinder schenken, unsere liebe Kinder schenken, so liebe kleine Kinderlein, 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 so liebe kleine Kinderlein, so liebe kleine Kinderlein. Erst eine kleine Papageno,
dann eine kleine Papageno,
dann wieder eine Papageno,
dann wieder eine Papageno,
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 Papageno, Papageno.
Es ist das höchste der Gefühle,
Es ist das höchste der Gefühle.
viele
Wenn viele Papa, Papageno, Papa, Papa, Papageno, Papa, 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 Papageno, Eltern Segen werden sein. Es ist das höchste der Gefühle.
es ist das höchste der Gefühle,
Wenn viele, viele Papa, 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 Papageno, Eltern Segen werden sein. Papageno, Papageno, Papa, 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 Papageno, Eltern Segen werden sein. Papageno, Papageno, Papa, 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 Papageno, Eltern Segen werden sein. Eltern Segen werden sein. Eltern Segen werden sein. Papa, Papa, Papageno, Papa, Papa, Papageno, Papa, Papa, Papageno, Papa, Papa, Papageno.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Stephanie Herman Show. Here's wishing solidarity throughout our lives and the world. Let's hoping for a positive metamorphosis for all and a cure or a vaccine for COVID-19. Wishing you happiness and health, stay safe, and hope to see you soon. Thank you and good night.
Bist du mir nun ganz gegeben?
Bin ich dir ganz gegeben?
Nur so sei mein liebes Weibchen,
Nun so sei mein Herzenstäubchen,
mein liebes Weibchen,